club.
Team news, please. Is there any injury updates, and is there a chance tomorrow for Gabriel Martinelli to get some more minutes as he comes back from injury?
Yeah, everybody finished the game against Man United with no issues, so I expect the same players to be available, and Gavi for sure will be available as well.
And now there's been a couple of days between the game. Is there any further reflection on that draw at Man United?
The same as before, and now full focus on PSV.
It's a unique situation coming into a game with a 7-1 lead, so it doesn't give you a chance to rotate the team tomorrow. How are you going to approach that?
It is unique, but as well understanding as well how the game was played a week ago, and the fact that everything went in the right direction for us from the beginning, and we're going to have to end it right tomorrow to go in the same direction. So fully focused on that.
It's probably a little bit strange coming into a game where you have a 6-goal lead to be asking about chance creation and finishing, but is there anything you can do to improve on the way the team has been building up and taking chances?
Yes, for sure. There is always improvement, and from the other day as well, we already talked about a lot of situations that we could have done better because the situations are there, but that's it. It's about execution in football, and it's what you can do X, and my job is to give the team as many tools as possible, reassurance and confidence as well, that we can deliver again.
And just finally, from me, does focus go even more onto the Champions League now in the position you're in, considering the position you are in the Premier League, 15 points behind? Is this the only realistic chance left of a trophy?
Well, it's a competition that we have a lot of enthusiasm, put in a lot of energy, we're very consistent, and winning tomorrow puts us in a very good position. That's it.
Gary, Sky.
Hello, Mikel.
Hello.
I know you...
Surprise me. Surprise me.
I'll try, but I doubt I'll succeed.
Okay.
I know you won't say, and Arne Slot's not saying that the title race is over, but pundits are queuing up to say that the title race is over. You still believe that until it's mathematically not over, you can carry on fighting for it?
Yeah, we're going to carry on fighting to try to win every game, which is the only thing that we can do at the moment, because certainly doesn't depend on us.
That didn't surprise you, that question, did it?
No. I was very predictable, by the way.
Are you a betting man?
No.
No. If you were, would you back yourselves to win the Premier League?
Well, now? Yeah. Good question.
Good job you're not a betting man.
Yeah.
How do you convince the players that the fight is still on both fronts?
We are talking about now tomorrow's game and Champions League, that's all.
You said the Champions League, obviously that must be the competition you've got most chance of winning silverware this season. If you had to choose, at the start of any season, if you had to choose either the Premier League to win it or the Champions League to win it, which one would you personally choose?
I'm very lucky because I don't have to choose. Nobody put me in that situation. So we have 4 at the start of the season, and we go for the 4 of them and see what we get.
When you arrived, if someone had said that you'd be second again in the Premier League as we speak, and in pretty much the quarterfinals of the Champions League, that would be a dream season, wouldn't it? Given where the club were when you got here.
If somebody said that, I don't know. That's for somebody to understand and to put that. If somebody would say that with the injuries that we had, with 5 red cards and everything that's going on, probably. But I don't know. Everybody has different opinions. You have to respect that.
Thank you.
Ian, TalkSport.
Hi Mikel, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So this is your last chance of winning silverware. Does it put pressure on you? The fact that you've now got only one competition to go for?
But it's the demands that we put in every competition that we play. It's not adding pressure, it's the reality of where we are and what we want to deliver. And we are very, very, very much conscious that the demands for this football club is to reach the highest level and win those competitions. That's it.
And yeah, you just said the demands are to win competition, win silverware. Would it be, I won't say failure, I think that's too hard a word, would it be a major disappointment to you if you finish the season again without silverware, despite the fact that you've progressed again, maybe in your own mind from last season?
We are not there yet, and I think the way I describe failure, it will be very different maybe to yours or to somebody else's.
How would you describe it?
Hi everyone, it's the Gary Neville podcast live from Old Trafford, which is emptying now gradually after what became, in the second half certainly, Gary, a very watchable game between Manchester United and Arsenal, which was drawn. What did you make of it?
Yeah, the first half was a really strange game where United didn't offer anything, and then go in at half-time, 1-0 up and score the goal. Interesting how United scored in the first half, and I think their performance was better in the second, and Arsenal scored in the second half, and their performance was better in the first. Some of the old sort of patterns of problems for these two teams appeared on the day. I think we saw that United in the first half looked really void of confidence, didn't they? They just looked like they were waiting to get beat, but the team that were playing against them couldn't really create anything. They're recycling it really well. Some of the passing from the back and through midfield to the edge of the United box was decent, but they came up against the United team that was sort of quite well organised in that 5-4-1, and they couldn't get through it. Arsenal didn't have the innovation, they didn't have the sort of one-on-one ability in wide areas, and they didn't also have, I think, a centre forward who can make the runs alongside Manchester United centre backs who had that sort of killer eye for goal. And Marino's doing a good job up there, sort of filling in. But it hit home in the first half, particularly when Arsenal had 70% of the ball. United didn't really attack at all until well into injury time in the first half. What a problem Arsenal have and why they're so far behind Liverpool, and it's cost them a Premier League title. And I've said it over the last few weeks. I think these players can feel let down. I think the manager can feel let down. I think they should have been supplied over the last year or so with a striker. And I'm not talking about a striker. I mean, striker could have got injured, but Havertz and another striker and Jesus. So for me, they've left themselves woefully short of attacking players. They have had injuries, but you've got to plan for that. You know, the reason we had 4 centre forwards back in the day, the reason Liverpool have got 6 forwards now that can interact and play, and Darwin Núñez can come on yesterday and, you know, pick up the pieces of someone else who doesn't quite hit the form on the day, is because you need that in a season. You need to be able to call upon people and rely upon your bench and your squad. And Arsenal, I think, have fallen short, and it was more evident in the first half, I think, than ever.
I asked you this a bit in the game, and it maybe sounds like a naive question, but I do think people are interested. Marino's playing centre forward. You're willing to say he's a very, very good footballer. He's not doing anything, quotes, wrong. No. But what is it that's missing? What does what you might call a qualified striker have that Mikel Marino doesn't have?
Well, it becomes obvious when you start to think, well, what would happen if Thierry Henry was up there, or Robin van Persie, or even Lacazette and Aubameyang in the last few years? You know, it's just basic. I mean, he's doing a job up there. He's controlling it. He's passing it wide, but he's not living on the shoulder. He's not smelling moments in behind. He's doing the basics right. He's filling in. He's not a centre forward. If you put someone up there who could link with people better, who could make runs in behind, who could score goals, whose job it is been all their lives to score goals, then you just see a direct advantage straight away. And Arsenal have needed this for a couple of years. They've been woefully short in that department, and I just don't know why they've ended up in this position. And Marino, look, he's doing a good job. This is not a criticism of Marino or any of the players. They may be able to improve in wide areas as well, but I think Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, Nwaneri, I think they're good enough. I think between them, they've got some decent wide players. I think Ødegaard's a good, off the front player. I think Rice makes good runs from midfield, and we've seen him contribute in attacking areas today. Marino can obviously do that as well, but they lack a focal point up top that can do the job for them. And
do you believe that is the single, or at least the single most important reason why Liverpool have got away from Arsenal? Yeah, better attacking options. I think Liverpool don't have to play well to rely upon their front six to deliver. Liverpool can play deep. Liverpool have, in certain games, you've seen play 3 or 4 different styles. Sometimes they go direct, sometimes they'll play deep and play counter-attack. Arsenal can't even counter-attack. So Arsenal can't counter-attack, and when they have the ball in possession in the final third, they can't really innovate and play through. So the 2 ways you score goals in games, three ways, is set pieces, and set pieces they've been pretty good at. Weren't that great today, but set pieces they're doing well on. The other 2 areas that you mainly score goals from is when you're in possession dominating the game as a top team, or when you're counter-attacking and you can really go quickly. They find themselves always having to come back and recycle and play it across the field. And predictable, safe. They're doing a good job at times, but they need players who can interact with each other and quicken up the play in the final third, and that's what really good and top players do. And Liverpool are just better in the final third than them, and the attacking metrics show that Arsenal are very good defensively, even though I thought in the second half today United, to be fair, had 3 or 4 big chances, but they still, through their goalkeeper and back 4, only concede 1 goal. We'll tidy up the rest of the top of the table, Liverpool, Forest and City afterwards, but perhaps we should deal with Manchester United first. Was there something there to encourage you today?
A little bit. I mean, I'd like to touch on the Manchester United goal.
Of course,
on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's strange, really. I mean, Arsenal are quite a wise team, and they're usually cute. And I just thought they got. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the referees pushed them back too far, which is a mistake. But ordinarily, you would start to sense you're too far away, and you start to creep forward, and they didn't do that. And it ends up that Bruno Fernandes has that ability to play it over the wall. So I think that's something that needs mentioning. Coming on to United, they don't like playing here at the moment. This is it's a struggle for them. There's just a sort of weight on their shoulders that exists that means that they find it difficult. But they can in moments when they get a goal, all of a sudden just rise. And you saw that. Second half, I thought they played some decent stuff. I mean, they're obviously still up against it at times with Arsenal, but they created some big moments. There's some big chances out there for United. Raya made some great saves. Højlund, again, demonstrates why he's just not quite sharp enough in front of goal. I think he could have got the shot away quicker when Declan Rice tackles him. His touch could have been a little bit to the left. But I think Ruben Amorim will be really happy with the second half. I'm just looking here at expected goals that we're looking at on your sheet. United have got higher expected goals than Arsenal in that game. And that doesn't surprise me because I think some of the chances that United had in the second half were big. I thought that was a good second half for United. I mean, they didn't score in the second half, but I thought the performance was so much better. I think United fans can live with that. If they're defending deep, but then there's still a threat going forward, that isn't a problem. I think the first half is a problem when you're defending deep and you offer nothing. I mean, the first shot on goal was Bruno's free kick. It was a great free kick. But, yeah, I think the second half was a lot better. I think Ruben Amorim, after this last... it could have gone really badly wrong for him this week. You think about after Fulham last week and going out of the FA Cup, you could see that maybe if they get beat in Sociedad and then obviously come here and get beat, it would have been a real dampener coming into the next game at Old Trafford next Thursday against Real Sociedad, which is the return leg. But actually, I think they'll feel a little bit more confident leaving the stadium tonight, the United players. What could have been a difficult few days, actually I think has been a decent few days for them. And, we've got to remain calm because there were still elements of that performance which were well short, but at least they got the result and they did pick up in the second half.
Yeah, and he spoke, I thought, interestingly this week. He always has something interesting to say, doesn't he, Ruben Amorim, about scarred players. I mean, and I guess that plays into what you're saying about the difficulty of playing here in front of 70,000 with all the same old expectation, but without the sort of underbelly of success and self-belief and all of that. And he spoke of anxiety, and maybe to some extent that second half was a little bit of a healing second half.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, half-time, I said just after half-time that I think Ruben Amorim goes in at half-time and says, look, lads, what are you worried about? Just play. The goal gives him something to be able to obviously encourage them on. They feel like they've got something to sort of play to and hang on to. And also that Arsenal couldn't hurt them. That's the one thing I think Ruben Amorim will have been saying at half-time is, look, you've sat back there and Arsenal have thrown everything at you in terms of possession, but they've not been able to break you down. That next step is just show a little bit of confidence in your attack. And I thought through Garnacho and I think through Bruno Fernandes, I think Xerxes as well, there were moments in that second half where I thought that they could sort of build on a little bit in terms of confidence. But you're absolutely right. They are void of confidence, and this place is huge. I mean, the stadium's big. It's the biggest stadium in the country when it comes to, obviously, Premier League and league football. And it's an expectant crowd, and the microscope is on you all the time. You can't get away from it. But that's why they signed here. That's what they wanted. That's the glory that comes with scoring the winner and the celebrations and the obviously healthy pay packet as well. So you can't have it always. You need to be able to make sure that the sort of negative will come if you don't perform. But I actually thought in the second half there was some decent stuff. I thought the back five stuck at the task. I thought Casemiro actually had one of his better games in central midfield with Bruno Fernandes. So there were some positives, I think. And look, the big game is obviously this week now on Thursday, and Real Sociedad are going to be tough. But I thought they did well in the first 65, 70 minutes last week over in Spain. And there's something to build on. And can they finish the season stronger and have a run in the Europa League? That's going to sort of